Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. Markets were a little bit mixed today, along with Bitcoin being down and Ethereum down, but we'll take a look at what's going on there. We'll also take a look at the miners. They were down for the most part as well. They were up a little bit in the beginning, but then they fell down towards the end of the day. We'll take a look at what's going on there. And then we'll also take a look at what Bitcoin price each miner needs to cover their expenses, basically break even. There are some miners that are omitted from here because they didn't provide their Q3 results, or they haven't provided their production updates for November or December. So they're out of the mix right now because we just don't have the data on them, okay? And that's going to be it. It's going to be pretty quick and easy here. So as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. And I'm invested in following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, please hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. All right, here's the market. So the S&P was down 0.07%. So it's down a little bit, not much, but it ended up at 4,016. Dow Jones was up a little bit today, 0.31% to 33,733. NASDAQ was down a little bit also, 0.22% to 11,846. So it wasn't too bad. We had a little bit of a pullback on it. It's not bad. Bitcoin was down a little bit today as well. It wasn't down too bad. It was down 1.24%, which was kind of good to have a little bit of a pullback. We've been going, pretty high, pretty fast here. So it's nice to have a little bit of a pullback. And right now it is down again another 1.05%. So and we've only been trading for about an hour and a half so far in the new day. We're already down. We'll see where this ends up at. But looking at the chart here on the 4 hours, we can see that the RSI has come down nicely here to 45. We've come back down to right around here where RSI was much higher at that point. Price is pretty close to that right now. I'm thinking that's a good sign. We'll see if we have the RSI continue going down. If we do, we may come back down and test this 21,331 line here, which has acted as kind of a resistance and support. Well, it hasn't acted as support yet. It's acted as resistance, but we'll see if it'll act as support if it does come down there. On the 4 hour chart, on the 1 hour chart, we can see here RSI is now looking at oversold a little bit at 28. So that's a good sign there as well. So I don't foresee it going all the way down there that far. We kind of bounced off of it here a little bit. We've come a little bit lower. We'll see how much lower we get. And I'm guessing we probably will have a little bit of rally going back up in price on Bitcoin, but we'll see. Okay, Ethereum here on the daily was down today a little bit more. It was down 4.33% compared to Bitcoin's only 1.2 something. So that was a bigger move here on the day. RSI has fallen below the overbought territory. Is now at 59 on the daily right now. And let's see here, we ended up today, we closed at 1,556 on Ethereum. Now on the 4 hour chart, we can see that the RSI is now in the oversold territory, which last time it was back here was, when was it? Roughly maybe right around here. This was back in December of 28th. And that price was at that point 11,900 or 1,190, sorry. We're up about $400 from that point. So that's a good sign as well. I think that gives us a little bit more room to run. And looking at the 1 hour chart, we can see that, yeah, we are oversold right now on it. Last time we were this low on the RSI on Ethereum was when? When was this last time we were this low on it? You'd have to probably go back maybe even further. Wow. Let's see here. Right around here, it looks like this was back on Friday the 16th, Friday or Thursday. No, wait a minute, right over here. So this was back, Friday or Thursday, the 16th or 15th of December. And at that point, Bitcoin was at 1,200. So we are up still 300 some odd dollars from that point on. Okay. So that's still looking pretty good. I think we're going to bounce from here potentially. We'll see if we continue going down, if this is a dead cat bounce that we're having just recently, or if it's something else, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, now as far as the miners are concerned, Annie was down 0.95% to 41 cents. Argo was actually up today, 6.19%, and it has had a pretty good rally here in the past couple of days. Bit Digital was down 2.11% to $1.39. Bitfarms was down 4.24% to $1.13. CleanSpark was down 1.06% to $2.80. Cars was down a little bit, 2.48 to 11 cents. DigiHost was up nicely today, 9.92% to $1.44. DMG was down 2.09% to 23 cents. Greenidge was down 10.65% to 88 cents. Hive was down 3.2% to $33.33. Hut 8 was flat on the day at $1.98. Iris Energy was up 0.92% to $2.19. Marathon was down 2.22% to $8.80. Mawson was up 2.17 to 47 cents. And Riot was down 5.25% to $6.14. And Solana was down 9.62% to 47 cents. and Wolf was up 4.8% to 95 cents right now. Okay, let's take a look at the network hash rate on it. See where we end up at. Let's refresh this. And it has come back up a little bit here on the 7-day average to 272 million. And on the 1-day average, we actually fell down a little bit here. So we're at 241 million right now on the network hash rate on the daily. And this is from yesterday, I believe, the 23rd. Yep. Okay, so that's kind of where we're standing right now. And let's take a look at the miners. What would it take for them to break even in this current market? So a little background story on this. Here's what I did. I used the numbers from the Q3 results that they had. I included pretty much everything in there except for depreciation, some other crap that they have in there. I basically used cost to mine, wages, salaries, administrative costs, share-based compensation as well, because some of them bunched it in together. So I took the other ones that have it separately, added in there as well, so it's a fair comparison for that. And I think that's it. And then also if they had any interest expenses in that as well, I included all that in there. Okay, so just so you guys know on that one. So here's what we have. Let me zoom this in maybe a little bit more for you guys. Numbers are a little bit small. There we go. Okay. So what we have here is the stock price for BitDigital, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, DigiHost, DMG, Hive, Hut 8, Marathon, Mawson, Riot, and Sphere. Like I said, there were a couple of them that have not provided their Q3 results and production updates for November, December. I'm using the averages for Bitcoin's mined for those 2 months. I'm guessing I guess that they're going to be right around that number somewhere. They might be a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but we're going to be pretty close with that number. Okay. Market cap, we have the market caps in all of these here. You can see that BitDigital is at 114 million, Bitfarms at 252, CleanSpark at 200 million, DigiHost at 37 million, DMG at 41 million, Hive at 288 million, Hut 8 is at 438 million, Marathon is at 1 billion, Mawson is at 38 million, Riot is at 1 billion, and Sphere 3D is at 28 million, okay? Shares, I calculated shares by taking the market cap dividing by the stock price, and this is what we have for them. BitDigital has 90 million shares, almost 91. Bitfarms has 219, almost 220. CleanSpark has 76 million. DigiHost has 36. DMG has 175 million. Hive has 91 million. Hut 8 has 228 million. Marathon has 127. Mawson has 96. Riot has 165. And Sphere 3D has 68 million. And then what I took here is also I checked as far as, well, let me go into BTC mined averages. So for BitDigital came out at 137. Bitfarms was 474, CleanSpark was 499, DigiHost was 59, DMG was 96, Hive was 238, Hut 8 was 199, Marathon was 473, Mawson was 28, Riot was 590, and Sphere 3D was 14, and this is based on the averages for November, December numbers. I'm guessing they're going to be right around there someplace. They might be a little bit higher than this, but this is kind of the average that we're looking at right now. Okay. Then what I did was I took the BTC mined averages and divided it by the market cap, and basically what each BTC mined is generating for them as far as market cap. Okay, so for BitDigital came in at 836,000, for Bitfarms was 533,000, for CleanSpark was 402,000, for DigiHost it was 631, DMG was 430,000, Hive was 1.2 million, Hut 8 was 2.2 million, Marathon was 2.17 million, Mawson was 1.3 million, and let me see here, Riot was 1,700,000, and Sphere 3D was 2 million. Okay, so now if we look at the numbers here based on lowest to highest, actually, let's do this again, ascending, there we go. So we can see CleanSpark is, it looks to me at least right now, that they are the lowest valued based on the production that they do have of 499. They are second right now compared to Riot of 590. But you can see here Riot is bringing in 1.7 million per BTC mined, whereas CleanSpark only 402. You can look at the shares also and see that Riot has 165 million shares, where CleanSpark has 76 million shares. We know that there's a dilution in all of these, and CleanSpark has been diluting quite a bit for their growth, but I'm just surprised that they are the lowest one based on this metric here. DMG came in at 430,000. Bitfarms came in third. DigiHost at 631. So they number 5. Sixth spot was BitDigital. Hive was number 7. Mawson was number 8, Riot was number 9, Sphere was number 10, Marathon was number 11, and number 12, the highest rated here, was Hut 8, which is surprising since they only mined 199. So, a lot of these are a little bit surprising, like Sphere 3D. Investors are definitely giving them the benefit of the doubt here with 14 BTC mined on average for the last 2 months. They're getting valued at 2 million per Bitcoin, basically, if you look at it that way. I know there's other metrics that go along with it. Riot, I think, came in pretty well at 1.7 with 590 million shares out. I would have expected them to be up a little bit higher in their market cap compared to Marathon on this, but it is what it is. Also, who else came in kind of low but has a pretty good high number? DigiHost, 59, but you can see here that they're way up there as well. And DMG, I can understand them being kind of low as having only 96 BTC mined, but there it is. There's the numbers for that. Okay, let's do this again, ascending. There we go. Okay. Then I looked at their quarterly expense for Q3. This is what we have for it. Canadian numbers were converted over to USD. So this is all in USD numbers. BitDigital had 12.7 million in expenses. Bitfarms at 26 million. CleanSpark at 27 million. DigiHost at 6.6. DMG at 4.2 million. Hive at 19.7. Hut 8 at 24.9. Marathon was at 29.8. Mawson was at 25.5. Riot was at 30 million. And Sphere 3D was at 4 million. Now, there are some caveats to this because Riot also has other businesses that they are also generating revenue on. I'm looking at strictly for the Bitcoin mining. And when they put in all the expenses for administrative payroll, they're including it all for all their divisions that they have under their control, which raises that up. I think it would be lower if we just took out everything else, but we can't because we don't know what they spent on it. So I'm lumping them in here as is. Okay, but they still came in pretty good here regardless. Okay, which other one was kind of a strange one? Mawson also, they've been selling a lot of their electricity back to the grid. That's why their production is pretty low here at 28. What else do we have here that was kind of an oddball thing that I saw? I think that was it. Yeah, if it pops into my mind, I'll let you guys know, okay? So then I just divided that number, the Q3 numbers, by 3 months to get a monthly expense so we could figure out where Bitcoin price would need to be each month for them. And here's what we came up with. For BitDigital, Bitcoin would have to be around 30,915 in order for them to break even based on their expenses here. If the expenses also follow suit and they're the same for this current quarter that we're in as they were in the third quarter. A lot might have changed in those 3 months where we had October, November, December, right? We don't have the figures for that yet, so I'll update that when we do get these and see where they would be now. But this is going back on the third quarter, okay? So they would need to be around 30,900. Bitfarms needs to be about 18,800. CleanSpark at 18,169. DigiHost at 37,600. And that is mainly because of their small number of production here. And then we got DMG at 14,000. They have pretty good production. And this should have been changed over. Why didn't this change over? Let me see here. GHI. Thought I changed this over. I did. Oh, Q3 expenses. Oh, and USD. Okay, there we go. Got worried there for a second that I didn't change it over, but I did. Where were we? DMG had only 4.2 million in expenses, so that's kind of why it makes sense there. Hive was at 27.7 thousand for BTC to break even. Hut 8 at 41,800, which that is really surprising as well. Oh, Hut 8 also has the data centers that they're using, the high computing data centers and their own data centers. I don't know if they put in a bunch of stuff in that quarterly result to get such a high expense number, but it is what it is. And then we need to be at 41,863, right? If I'm doing that correctly. Yeah. Marathon needs to be about $21,000 for Bitcoin. Mawson at 304. But Mawson, like I said, sells a lot of their electricity back to the grid. They generate, I think, more. They generated more in possible revenue from the selling of electricity than they did from actual Bitcoin mining. So that's kind of an oddball one here. Riot is at 17,334. So they're the lowest here, second lowest, I think, of these for where they need Bitcoin to be at. And let me see here, Sphere 3D at 98,905. So if we look at the lowest to the highest here, on these. We'll get a rating on these ascending. So DMG came in number 1 with 14,000. Riot came in at number 2. CleanSpark at number 3. Bitfarms at number 5 or number 4. Marathon at number 5. Hive at number 6. BitDigital at number 8. DigiHost at number 9. Hut 8 at number 10. And Sphere 3D at number 11. And Mawson at number 11 spot. 10 spot, 11 spot for those. So, and then here's the profitability. DMG right now, if things worked out this way, they would have about a 54% profit margin, potentially. Riot would be at 30%. CleanSpark would be at 24% based on current Bitcoin price at 22,600. This was pulled a couple hours ago. And what else? Bitfarms would be at 20%. Marathon at 7.3%. And then Hive is at negative 18. BitDigital would be at negative 26. DigiHost would be at negative 39. Hut 8 would be negative 46. Sphere 3D would be negative 77. And Mawson would be negative 92, but we know Mawson makes money on electricity, so does Riot. Riot also gets credits for it. So, and some of these miners are starting to do that as well, get credits or possibly get paid back for the electricity they don't use. So those are the way things ended up at. And based on this number where we got, let me see here, CleanSpark and Bitfarms, I think, are two of them, I would say two right now that are the most undervalued, I think, out of this bunch, particularly seeing that they're pretty close together as far as production is for BTC. Riot produced a little bit more, but you can see that they are way higher for BTC per market cap and their market cap in general. I would expect CleanSpark to be closer to maybe 800,000. Same thing with Bitfarms, or 800 million in market cap, and Bitfarms as well. Potentially right around there to be a little bit more even with Riot and where's the Marathon being, but we know that those guys have a little bit higher hash rate growth already. We're still waiting on CleanSpark to provide any announcements on purchases of miners. I think if they do that, then they're going to shoot up. Bitfarms is getting pretty close to being fully installed, so we need to hear from them as well. But let me know what you guys think of this. I thought this was kind of cool to see where things would need to be. I think if we're looking at it, I think the miners need to be within, probably within 10 to 20% of that somewhere with their expenses and everything else for this quarter in order to kind of break even or get better than this. Okay. So like I said, let me know what you guys think of this. I thought this was kind of cool to look at. Okay. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, it's going to be a short one today. If you have any questions on it, let me know. And I think this was requested by somebody. I can't remember who in the comments. So whoever requested this, thank you. This was kind of cool to look at. And that's it. Spreadsheet is going to be available to my Patreon members as always. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Love you all. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe. You guys know the deal. Okay? I'll see you in the next one. Bye.